welcome back to Imperfectly Permaculture. I'm Destiny and I am in my kitchen garden in Zone 4B in Western Maine. I, as my title suggests, try to use permaculture principles to the extent possible. So it's been a while since I posted an update. I started a new position a little over a month ago, and while it has allowed me to work remotely, it still has demanded a lot of time and energy, and I haven't had the attention span or energy to record videos. I've still been out in the garden and checking in on the burgeoning food forest and our mini orchard, but I haven't felt up to recording myself on screen for people to watch. So it's early August now, and it's been a rough gardening season. The weather has been really different than expected this year, and of course there's always unexpected weather when you're gardening, but it's just that things that I expected to do well haven't. Things that I typically have luck with, I've had very poor luck with this year, and so that's been a little frustrating too. But one of the nice things about planting a diversity of crops is that the garden is more resilient. And so while I haven't had everything that I was hoping for, I've still had produce coming in. And next year will be a new opportunity to try some of these annual crops again. So, what's doing well this year and what's been struggling? So the Good King Henry seedlings that I put in have been doing well. Most of them look like this. They've put on their flower heads and have had some nice growth. I didn't harvest anything from them this year to give them a chance to get good roots established, but I'm hoping that come next spring we will be able to enjoy these as an early spring green. Our everbearing strawberries have done well this year. We got a nice steady cropping in the earlier summer, and since the temperatures have been higher, they slowed down. Now that the temperatures are a little bit more typical of our climate this time of year, they've started blossoming again, so we should get some more strawberries until the first frost comes in, usually mid-September or October. Again, climate change is really changing all of that. Lots of calendula flowers and nasturtiums in bloom. The calendula self-sowed, and while I will harvest some to dry and use, a lot of it I am just leaving as bee food and as a living mulch in areas where we don't have things planted. The nasturtiums I know are edible for people, but I tend to use them more for rabbit treats. Our 2 house rabbits absolutely adore nasturtium. They grow abundantly and vigorously and provide a steady supply of salad munch for them, and so I enjoy the beauty and let my rabbits enjoy the noms. Our little chard patch here has been picking up. It was really struggling earlier in the season, and I wasn't sure if we'd have much, but it started to do a lot better. Again, I think that just the weather has been hard on some of our crops this year. In here, we've been harvesting carrots already. We harvested lettuce for a while as well. The lettuce in here has bolted, but we are still harvesting some of it for our rabbits who are less finicky about it turning a little bitter. Also have some red Russian kale in here that's a little bit picked over and still doing well. We treat it as a cut and come again crop. Our peas are starting to slow down. The heat has really been hard on them, but I put in the fall crop and those are coming up. So hopefully we will continue to have peas into the cooler weather. My rose is not currently blooming, but it has gotten bigger this year. I'm excited about that. I hope to eventually have it big enough that I can harvest rose petals for culinary purposes. And for here, got some lovage seedlings. They're still quite small, but hopefully next year they will be better. And our parsley patch is coming along. And then this parsley from last year will seed and continue our patch. It's been slow to start getting parsley this way, but I think it will be easier in the long term to just leave it to self-sow. Our chamomile patch is looking a little tired right now, but we have gotten a ton of chamomile so far, and we've been drying it for tea for over the winter. We've had good dill heads coming in, and over here in the front patch, I think I may have mentioned previously, our spring radish crop was basically a failure, but we've got winter radish in here now. They had some pest damage on the seedlings, but most of them seem to be doing okay and catching up, so hopefully we will have some nice winter radishes. Here we've got some shallots that put on flower heads. That's more of the calendula I showed earlier. Some daikon radishes coming in. Beets that didn't do so well this spring, but we may still at least enjoy the greens. This oregano patch that we mostly use as supplement to our rabbit salad. They seem to enjoy it more than my husband does. He has a different oregano patch that he prefers in a different section of the garden. And over here along the side, I've put in some Turkish rocket seedlings. Those won't produce this year, but again in the spring, hopefully, we'll have a new crop to try. Here are cucumbers. Cucumbers have been such a struggle this year. I lost 2 rounds of seedlings to pest damage. These ones are finally looking like they may produce something. Normally at this point in the season, I'd already have cucumbers. It's just been super frustrating, but my fingers are crossed I will have at least a few cucumbers this year. For here, I have these beautiful pale yellow, almost white, buttery nasturtiums. Those were a surprise in the garden this year. I've never had that color before. And let's see, potatoes. This section that's been protected has been doing well. We have another potato patch down in the mini orchard area that's doing even better. These are shelling beans that we thought weren't going to make it, but are doing okay now. Our corn is looking tall and healthy. So this section here is our Dakota black popping corn, and a few early tassels coming in, hoping we get good pollination and some success with popping corn. Down low around its base, there are some pumpkins and peas and nasturtiums. Haven't seen any female pumpkin flowers yet, but I'm hopeful we'll get some pumpkins. And this section is our painted mountain corn. Again, looking pretty healthy. We've been feeding it compost teas and rabbit manure, and it seems to appreciate that. So again, we will see. The painted mountain corn can be used for making cornmeal and flour, and it's multicolored corn. It's really beautiful, so I'm hoping I'll have some to show to you this fall. Tomatoes. We have a few tomatoes coming in now. They were slow to get started, but I'm hoping we'll have some tomatoes. And people who know me well may find that funny, because I actually don't like eating tomatoes that much. But I do enjoy drying them and having them once they've been dried. And I enjoy making sauce from them with my husband. So fingers crossed on that. Summer squash has produced a number of squash already. Hopefully we'll get some more from it. This one has been the happiest. There were several planted at the same time. None of the other ones have produced a fruit yet. But again, fingers crossed, we'll get some more. Ground cherries or husk cherries. I've seen a couple of flowers on them. I'm hoping to get some. My daughter was really excited to try these, and I just don't know what to expect. And we've got bush beans tucked in all around here as well. They're purple bush beans and really beautiful. I'll show you some a little later. These are some kind of mallow flower that popped up as a surprise in a few spots. And I really think they're beautiful, so I left them. Over here near the flea bane, some more. And I've got some borage flowers. I've never grown borage before. Excited about it. I tried one of the flowers. I don't want to pluck too much because I really want it to self-sow and have more. I didn't get that many seeds in the packet, so yeah. Grape is growing. And grape is growing. Got oregano, more bush beans, summer squash. Those haven't produced much yet. Our mint patch is getting a little unruly, so I will have to hack that back soon. That hop vine is doing pretty well. Fennel and bee balm and good King Henry and nasturtium and chamomile, and I don't even know what else back here. It's kind of a crazy bed. The little pond is doing well. We've had frogs in there all summer. The hop vine in the back here died back. I thought it was dead. It's got a new shoot on it, so it's alive, but it has struggled. This hop vine, it's been having a bit of trouble too, but it's alive and it's made a few umbels, so that will be fun. It's the first year with them, so I think future years will be more productive. So that's kind of a quick view of the kitchen garden. Got other stuff growing, our apple trees coming in, no fruit this year, they're still a little young. Same with the pears. We do have elders coming in. Nanking cherry has put on good growth, although one of them looks like it died. Lots of walking onions. Here are the promised purple beans and some snow peas and chamomile that I came out to harvest. So that's kind of where we're at with the kitchen garden. Other stuff is growing, but this is really where I spend a lot of my time in the summer right now, since a lot of our perennial fruit crops and whatnot aren't producing yet. They're still young. It takes a few years to start getting stuff from trees and bushes. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen garden, which is still primarily annual crops, but we are working to establish more perennials. It's been really hot a lot this summer, hotter than usual for Maine. It's been very dry again. We're, I think, out of moderate drought and back into abnormally dry, but again, it's been a little bit tough for some of the plants. And that's why we plant lots of different things, so we don't miss out on having food when 1 or 2 or 3 things struggle. That's all for this time. I hope you're all doing well. Let me know what things have been rough for you this year in the garden. I'd love to hear from you. Remember to like and subscribe and leave comments. I do this as a passion project and a way to document the progress of my garden and food forest, but I still enjoy getting feedback and interaction with other people and feeling like it's a conversation with friends and strangers. So I hope I will see you soon. Take care. Oh yeah, I forgot our watermelon patch. I don't know if you can tell by the scale, but that sugar baby is not a baby. So we're hoping to have some fun watermelons. Those can be a little tricky to grow in Maine, which is why we have them inside the frame to create warmer, moister climate. So yeah, those clearly look happy as well.